record, and then good afternoon, everybody. Morning if you're on the West Coast. My name is Rich Lawson. I've got Kevin Kennedy here. We're going to be giving you a quick overview of the Small Association Leadership Alliance. So hopefully everybody can hear me. Kevin, are you here?
I am. Can you hear me?
Excellent. So we're not going to take up a whole lot of your time. One of the core tenets of what we're trying to do with the Small Association Leadership Alliance is be respectful of everyone's time. So we're going to try to keep this to a half hour. Take as many of your questions as we can, and then follow up with you later with a follow-up email. So with that, Kevin, if you want to kick off.
All right. Well, like Rich said, good afternoon, everyone. Good morning if you're out on the West Coast. My name is Kevin Kennedy. I'm going to take you through the first part of the webinar. Rich will then take you through the second part, and as he said, we'll open up for some questions, and we will be out of here within 30 minutes or so. So the Small Association Leadership Alliance has been in the works for about 2.5 years, and over that time, we worked to determine the size of the small association industry and the needs of the staff and volunteers who work with and for small associations. We conducted numerous surveys, had many conversations, as you can imagine, with staff and volunteers, and everyone involved in the project has served as senior management or board members of small associations. So what were our conclusions? There are nearly 18,000 active 501c6 organizations and nearly 200,000 501c3 organizations with annual budgets up to $2 million. So the universe, if you will, is quite large. Larger associations serving nonprofit professionals do not cater to the specific needs of smaller organizations, and folks are looking for common sense, low-cost assistance. So we know the size of the universe, and of those 18,000, what do the organizations look like? Well, based on our surveys conducted over time, 50% have a traditional office. I mean, they rent space and employees work from that space. 13% have a hybrid office, I mean, it's a mix of virtual and traditional office work, and then 37% are a virtual organization. The most significant challenges, and these are listed in order of importance, are budget limitations and staff size, membership development, benefits, strategic planning, and new program development. The benefits they're seeking from a SALA membership, a small association community, health insurance, organizational support, topical discussions and webinars, and buyer's guide. And I'll talk about all of these a bit more. So why SALA? What is our commitment to the industry? Well, everyone involved in all discussions we've had and surveys we've done, everyone agrees that small associations are an underserved market. So SALA is the only national association for small staff association leadership, staff consultants, and service providers. SALA provides a tangible benefit to small associations and fills the void that exists in the market. Our mission is to provide programs and services that create new opportunities in a favorable environment for small associations, helping you grow and strengthen your associations. Our vision statement is to become the preeminent national association for small association leadership, staff, consultants, and service providers by providing member-focused programs that create economic value and help grow and strengthen member companies. So what are our benefits? Well, we're offering unique, low-cost, high-value benefits targeting special needs of small association staff and volunteers. We've worked to develop innovative programs that help advance small associations and overcome the unique challenges. So I'll go through some of the benefits now and talk about them a bit. As we said, folks are looking for that small association community and network. So we're providing a platform for peer-to-peer networking with other small association leaders. And I will say that membership is not just for the CEO or the executive director. When an association or an organization joins, any C6 or C3, the entire staff joins along with that association. So it's not restricted in any way. We are building an online community that we will soon launch on an online platform. We're very excited about that, of course. Organizational support. Oftentimes, depending on the needs of your organization and membership level, your annual dues include some organizational support. So what are those hours for? Well, a good example is if you're looking to hold a meeting or want another set of eyes to look at your hotel contract or something of that nature, we can help. If you want someone to manage that meeting for you, that would obviously go beyond the hours, and we'd refer you to one of our industry partners or others in our network. You will also, of course, have the online community and peer-to-peer network that we're building to consult with other leaders as well. But you can think of SALA as an extra right hand when needed. You can use these hours for a sounding board, peer review, or any type of support that you may have. Industry Partners Network. We have a growing list of industry partners that have been vetted to ensure they work with small associations. Many companies, as you may know, do not work with small organizations, but all of our partners do. We have vetted each and every one of them. We have spoken with each and every one of them to ensure that they work with organizations that have budgets of $2 million or less. Some of them do offer discounts to SALA members as well. We have topical webinars that we will be expanding on. We're planning on holding at least 2 per month. We have several coming up. We have developed an affinity program. Many of the small organizations do not have their own affinity program. It's not something they can manage or perhaps qualify for. So we've built a fairly robust affinity program that includes discounts on travel, shipping, business insurance, office supplies, and more. You can take advantage of these. Your members can participate as well, and there's also potential for some non-dues revenue for your organization. We'll be adding to this program. The next edition, for example, will be discounted merchant processing fees. So, for example, anytime someone pays you for membership or a meeting and they pay with a credit card, we've reached a deal that will offer discounted rates to our members, discounted as opposed to the rates being offered by PayPal and others. Lobbying is a topic that's we've had a lot of discussion around. We have partnered with a firm here in DC, and we're currently working with them on association health plans as an example. The expansion of association health plans is something that's been wanted in the nonprofit industry for a long time, but even with the executive order last fall, there is still yet not a lot of clarity about how this will take shape. That said, we are pursuing this as an advocacy effort and hope to bring plans to our members when authorized by the Department of Labor. We are in discussions with several insurance companies about this and about how best to bring the association health plans out there and make them available. They will be at rates lower than what is currently offered through the Affordable Care Act, for example. We're obviously very excited about it, but as you can imagine, it is a slow-moving operation. But we are working towards it, and we do hope to bring it to our membership soon. And it'll be something not just that our members can participate in and having the discounted health plan, but also their members should they need it. We're also offering a number of forums, and we'll be forming some regional groups as well. There's been discussion about having regional groups here in DC where we are based, as well as New England, probably the Boston area, and Chicago area. These would be regional groups, and they might have regional meetings. We are not looking to have an association where folks have to travel or incur expenses or take time away from their jobs to attend meetings. We're going to do as much as we can virtually. These regional type meetings have been brought up by members and partners as a way for folks to get together without incurring the travel costs, as an example. We are also working on an industry newsletter that will come out quarterly. And as I said, we are continuing to look to improve our benefits. We are looking to make them available in a way that's easy for everyone to use them. So we're building a very large online community and online network. As you can see, we're going to host webinars and really try to bring these benefits to our members in a very easy way, in a way where no one incurs any additional costs. For example, if we bring on speakers to do different webinars or topical webinars, as opposed to having to travel to an event to hear them speak. So that's a little bit about our benefits. As Rich said, we're going to follow up with everyone with a brief email that will provide a little more detail on the benefits with some attached flyers outlining them. But for now, I'm going to turn it over to Rich, who has will take you through the second half of the presentation, and then we'll have some brief Q&A and let you all get back to work and onto your weekend. So, Rich.
Thanks. So one of the things that I like to do is I'm an association executive, and I'm currently running a small trade association, and my background is with scientific societies. So what I try to bring to the presentation is a little bit of perspective that you all can relate to. So a little bit on me on this slide. I am a board member, CEO, prior executive director, and heavily involved with ASAE. One of the things that I got really excited about with SALA, and where the connection is with you all, is, with my small staff, the things that kind of really were a struggle were the things that kind of blindsided me, whether it was the board asking for something, or coming up with a project, or something that was outside our regular scope, a special project or a conference. Particularly international conferences were a struggle. And it kind of boiled down to having limited time, limited financial resources, and limited staff resources. And that was what, from my perspective, I wanted to see SALA solve. So you might be asking, well, what about organizations like ASA or CES? And I think the problem with ASA, if you're in a small organization, is that if you're not actively engaged in the CAE program or attending the annual meeting, you're really kind of limited. And also, that tended to be not really germane to small associations. But as I mentioned, I'm an ASAE member and have supported that organization for a long time. And what SALA is trying to be is something very focused and a little different, that doesn't require the same kind of travel commitment and budget commitment. CES was another organization I was involved in that was a little bit more like SALA. It was topical, so it had a topical focus, and I found the peer-to-peer to be very valuable there. And that's sort of the model that I felt that SALA could follow, and providing value with putting association professionals and volunteers that run small associations in a community where they can kind of share experiences and best practices and learn from one another. So really, the meeting attendance aspect was impractical for me and my staff, and unbudgeted. And we didn't have sufficient training budget to pursue the CAE or any continuing education opportunities. So that's kind of my framework where I'm coming from. So what does SALA do in that regard? Well, we want to provide resources and best practices for small association staff and volunteers, and we do that by providing that peer-to-peer networking. And as Kevin mentioned, we are budgeting in consulting hours into the membership, so that basically you have resources at the ready to help you out with anything that might come up, like a hotel contract, or if you need a financial dashboard put together. It could be anything. And then, as Kevin said, if it's a more expansive project, that's where we want our partners to be fully engaged, and we're asking them to provide discounts for members, so that there's really a network that can go from a simple, hey, I need another exec to look at something, to I've got a project and I really don't have time to go out and do an RFP and try to do an exhaustive sort of project to identify a good vendor for me. SALA is going to try to solve that problem for you. As I mentioned, the partners are really key, because we have talked to them about whether or not they feel they can be fully engaged in this community and can offer more than just posting up an advertisement for their services. We want them actually to work on what we call the small association dilemma. It's important for us that we're providing tangible and valuable programs that, as we've mentioned, is respectful of your time and your budgets and don't require travel. And finally, the most important point is that SALA is not going to be one of these organizations that kind of gets real broad and gets into different areas. We really want to be laser focused on the challenges that face small staff and small nonprofit management. So the reasons to join, it's the only organization exclusively focusing on small nonprofits. We feel we have a practical and accessible portfolio of benefits, and as Kevin said, the door is always open. If there's something we haven't thought of, we're all in this together. We're all in the same industry. Let's figure out what needs to be offered and how to put it in place, and we will make sure that happens. We feel it's a low cost, high value. At $200 is the entry point for an organizational membership. We're very thrilled with the feedback we've had from the industry partners. We've received a tremendous amount of interest from them, and you'll see the logos in a second. Just for the small amount of time we've been at this with the partners, the interest has been really, really, really great. And then finally, the peer-to-peer. So, networking with others in the industry that are facing the exact same type of management challenges you are. So, again, we try to be respectful of your time. So we want to offer you a 20% thank you if you decide you want to join us. And that's the link right there that will take you to the discount page if you decide that you would like to join and take advantage of that 20% discount. And we'll have that in the email also. And there's our email addresses for Kevin and I. Feel free to send us a note at any time. And finally, here's our partners.
Yeah, and as Rich said, we have a large number of partners, and again, we're trying to find partners that, of course, work with groups that are our size and within our small association universe, and also fill the voids that we have. So, for example, membership development is a void that many have mentioned. So, sort of bringing in groups that can help with membership development and also do it at a reasonable price. So again, being respectful of everyone's budgets. There's no point in bringing in someone who can help you with membership development, but they want $100,000 a year. That's obviously not feasible for most organizations of our size. So we are vetting the partners as best we can. And we will continue to add partners as well as CVBs and other areas. So CVBs is an interesting one because many of us can't travel to go check out various locations. So we're putting together, for example, a destination showcase where virtually everyone can log in and see what, for example, Anchorage has to offer, or Charlotte, or Rhode Island, or any of the other ones that have joined and will continue to join. So, Rich, was there any questions submitted that we can answer before we let everyone go?
We've got 3 queued up here, Kevin. Our member count, I don't have that in front of me. Do you know it off the top of your head?
I do not, but again, we just started. It's less than 50 at this point, which is not many considering the size of the universe, but we're just a month into our membership drive, and we're adding members, obviously weekly and oftentimes daily. Our goal is to build the organization by the end of 2019 to have 1,500 members. And again, given the size and the interest, we feel that's very achievable.
Our second question from Derek here is, will there be a place for execs to share ideas? Yeah, on our new association management system platform, we will have things like discussion boards, the types of things you're used to taking advantage of with groups like ASAE, and there will be executive forums and things like that. So absolutely, and probably file sharing and all that. We got to get our heads around everything that the platform offers, but yes, we will have segmented areas for groups to network, and that's exactly what SES does as well, that I found very effective in my own personal experience. Kevin, maybe you can answer this one from Dan. Do you have stats on salary ranges for association staff? That's kind of a neat question because we were talking about data yesterday, actually.
Yeah, so we do have stats, but they're not necessarily appropriate because they are stats from associations of all sizes. So what Rich is referencing was, I just received one the other day. We're going to do a staffing survey, or staffing salary survey. But we're going to do it for the small association community. That way, it's much more appropriate. So we are doing that and doing that later this year. I do have some surveys that I can share with you, but again, they're so broad, and they're not just, for example, C6 associations. Some are also for nonprofits. But happy to share those with you or post them on our. Maybe we'll post them on our website, and then look for a salary survey to come out this summer. We're going to try and do that when things are a little slower for folks, and it'll be a short survey. It won't take more than 5 minutes, but we are going to conduct one and then of course distribute that.
And let me just tack on a little bit there. I think that's the real advantage or the power of what SALA is going to be because of the focus that we've got. I think we can get really meaningful data for our community. And I don't know if you've bought things like the ratios book from ASAE or the compensation books, and they tend to be very rangy, and cover from the largest associations to the smallest associations. I know in my own personal experience when I was working with the compensation data and trying to figure out what my salary pool is going to be at the end of the year and how I was going to, present that to the board, you had to go regionally, and then you had to do it by revenue amount and this sort of thing. So I think our data is going to be better and better focused on our industry. So hopefully that
and just the other thing I'll say, and I'm going to say this delicately, members are not going to be charged for that data. So our salary survey will be free to all members. I know a lot of salary surveys out there are actually quite expensive. Ours will be free to members. Again, we're looking to provide benefits to our members at a reduced cost or no cost, and this will be something that's just a pure benefit to members. It's something that we will of course do annually, and it'll be free of charge to members.
So Kathy asks if we can have some examples of the types of groups that have joined. I know we have a law association that's joined and a chamber of commerce.
Yeah, so we have a few chambers of commerce. That's a good point. They are state and county chambers, if that helps. We've had a number of national organizations, like Rich mentioned, in a variety of industries. We are obviously open to all industries. This is not an industry-focused association. It's an association management focused association.
Yeah, so we're sort of sector agnostic.
Yeah, well said. And then we've also had some state and local associations join as well. So it's a mix. It's in a number of industries, from finance to law to I don't know how to explain that. The outdoors just recently joined. I'm not saying that very well, but it's a widespread of members, and will continue to be.
Teresa asks if there's going to be a member portal to access. There isn't currently. We actually signed the contract yesterday for our association management platform, so there will be a portal that'll have the discussion groups and the member restricted stuff in there. So we actually have our kickoff call on Monday, I think.
Yeah, and we expect it to be built pretty quickly by the end of June. We've as you can imagine, have done a number of them, and we've actually been working on content and layout. So we will be starting that in earnest here in a couple of weeks, and we expect to launch by the end of June.
So we have a question here that appears to be from a destination partner or regarding destination partners about how to build relationships with SALA members. The way we're approaching the partners, and this probably helps both audiences, both the members and if any of you are potential partners out there, is we want a very personal relationship. So Kevin and I will get to know you. And for example, Anchorage is a member, and they sent me an email the other day, and they said, we're going to be in DC. And I said, great, we'll get that up on the website. Give me the schedule of all of the luncheons and the evening events you got going on. We'll blast it out to the membership. So we kind of handle it in a very personal way. Now SALA gets huge, it's probably going to become a little less personal, but I hope no less effective. And then, so that's one component is how we promote your kind of programs and your visits to the membership. The other part is we want all the groups to host a webinar. And we would like to offer a virtual destination showcase where we would actually have time set up during the week. Anchorage is at 3:30 on Monday, at 10 a.m. on Thursday, and Monterey is, various times, and we would do this online so that you don't have to travel around again and spend a lot of money, but you get to meet with the various CVBs and so forth that are involved. So hopefully that answers that one. The next one, so Ken asks, how many of our members are industry partners and consultants? None of them in that figure.
Right. So when we talk members, we're talking about the C6 and C3 organizations. Partners are outside that number, and partners we have more than 24, and then members, I said we're approaching 50, if not already there.
Okay, Kevin, can you go back to that previous slide that has the join link with the discount?
Sure. And I'm going to
There.
email that link to everyone as well. It'll obviously easier to join perhaps when you can click on it.
Teresa would like to know if we are on calendar or join date anniversary.
Join date. Yep, join date. It makes it a little easier, in my opinion, to manage the numbers that we're bringing on. Anything else?
I think that looks like it. And we are right under that half hour like we promised, so that's great.
All right, everyone. Well, listen, we appreciate your time. We're going to send you a brief email with a real brief survey as well as some additional information and the link to get the 20% discount. Again, as a thank you for your time today. It will also have my email and Rich's email. So if you have any other questions now or down the road in the future, please feel free to reach out to us. If we don't know the answer, we can certainly get it for you. I hope you all have a great weekend, and thanks again for your time.